Jack Titone.
Angelica Teixeira.
We are here in St. Louis, Missouri at the Dungeon Gym, and I am with two-time Olympia winner and two-time Arnold Classic winner, Angela, and we're going to talk bikini today.
Yes, we will. My favorite.
Of course, of course. So, if anybody has seen my recent social media posts, we have been putting out a lot of material for the NPC athletes, specifically bikini girls, on the do's and don'ts.
Yes.
Quite often as a promoter, we see a lot of the kids out there trying to mimic the pros, and they find themselves on stage with not all the amount of time that pros get. And you know, a lot of them are making some small mistakes, and we've given them some recommendations on the things to do and not to do. So that's what today's storyline is going to be. And who better to help us with this than a two-time Olympia winner? And
my pleasure.
One of my first points is, obviously the kids like to look at people like yourself and go to YouTube and watch the routine and get a professional opinion on what they should and shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
What they're failing to realize is that the amateurs don't get the same amount of time as pros.
Yes, we have as long as we want on stage. Of course, we don't want to be there forever, and the judges will be tired of us. But we can spend our time on stage. But for the amateurs, they have like 15 seconds to do the routine. So as long as, like if you want to look your favorite pro and kind of like get some movement, some transitions, that's fine. But pay attention that you're not gonna have the same time. Your time is short on stage. If you spend too much time, the judge is gonna start to score you down because
Right.
so many competitors to pose.
And it's amazing, this is a great point, it's amazing that so many amateurs don't realize that.
Yeah.
And what happens is they'll get a head judge at a state or a regional show or even a national show, and they've prepared to do a 35 to 45 second routine, and they get 15 seconds, and you hear a head judge or an MC go next, and they get thrown off.
Yeah.
And then they get a little antsy, and they feel like their whole karma thing is kind of ruined. So don't be that person.
Don't be that person.
Don't be that person. Realize that at all state and regional national shows, depending on the turnout, we're going to give you 15 or 20 seconds. Like the champ said, that doesn't mean that you can't practice what you've watched and what you've learned from them. You just got to cut your transitions down a little
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
bit. Some of the other things that you've noticed that maybe the amateurs that are doing that we talked about, like spinning their wheels, like if you're right in the mix in a placing, if you're at a state show, a regional show, or even a national show, and you're placing really well, and what we mean real well, if you're in that top 3, top 5, it's a matter of just points on why you're not winning.
You're right there.
You're
Yeah.
right there.
Uh-huh.
So often I'll see a girl that will want tons of feedback, and from a judging perspective, she wants to change her suit, she wants to change her hair color, or she'll change her makeup. What's your opinion on that?
I think if you place top 5, you're right there. Something's right about you.
Yeah.
So of course, get the feedback, and if the judge say, like, just come in a little tighter, keep going. Don't stop. I see like other mistake. They not only change the suit, they decide to change everything, and they placing good, so it end up like being worse.
Right.
And other thing, I feel that like they right there. And then let's say like in a national show they place 4th or 3rd or even 5th place. They right there. It's so hard to place on the top 5 on a national show. And then they like, what, I'm gonna take a break and make improvements. If you place in top 5, you should keep going. Don't
Yes.
stop now because you're right there.
Right.
Keep showing your face, keep improving, just improve on you get the feedback on it. And that's it. Don't change anything else.
Nothing. You heard it from the champ again. And from a judging perspective, and I'll give you some examples on why you shouldn't do that. I've seen girls that are just, you've got the wow factor. You're placing top 5, you're right there, and you've decided to do some of the things that we've just mentioned you shouldn't do, and I don't even recognize you.
Yeah.
And now you slipped, you've dropped. So don't be that person. Another point is, can I change my hair color? And in my humble opinion as a judge, if you've got dark hair, stay with your dark hair. don't go drastic in diet and go blonde. Don't be that chick that does that. Can you pull it off? Some people can, most don't. You don't need to go through all these drastic changes. Typically, as the champ mentioned, if you're in the top 5, it's probably a physique issue. In fact, it is a physique issue. Maybe you just need to be a little bit tighter. Maybe the top 4 girls or top 2 girls were aesthetically more pleasing than you. Changing your suit or changing your hair color isn't going to make a difference. In fact, you're probably going to fall backwards.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so don't be that person.
Yeah.
The other question that's been posed recently is, do you need to walk a certain way when you walk out on stage? And the answer is no. Recently I've heard that you have to walk foot over foot and walk a certain way. And in my opinion, the answer is no. What's your opinion on that?
I think you gotta be a natural walk.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. Of course, you gotta, if you're not familiar with heels, you should be practicing at home. That's what I tell, you know, the girls that come to me asking for advice. Oh, you know, I have such a hard time walking on heels. Start practicing at home. Put your heels, like exactly the ones that you're gonna wear the day of your show, and just walk at home, like doing things, walking around in your heels for days, and you're gonna get used to it. And you gotta be natural, because I feel that some girls, they try to walk like a Victoria's Secret model, and it doesn't come natural.
Right.
So it's a little awkward. So yeah, just bring your natural walk. Of course, feeling feminine, feeling, you know, beautiful. Come on stage with attitude and confidence, and that's the best walk you can do.
So to touch on a great point, if you're figure or bikini, doesn't matter. Get in those heels and spend as much time practicing your posing and your walking as you do in the gym. And I know my wife Ann, what she used to do is she used to put on her heels when she was fairly new in this sport, and she would walk around the house. She would cook in them. She would practice feeling comfortable in the heels. Now, if you're going to be the person that's going to try to get your walk down or get your posing down 2 weeks before a show, and you haven't spent equal amount of time on posing, you're probably going to have a problem. And the judges are probably going to pick up that you don't look overly polished and you don't have that wow factor.
Yeah.
So
you prep for like 12 weeks at least, right, for a show. You should start practicing your posing and walking your heels like as soon as you start your prep. Even though, you know, you don't feel that your physique is right there, sometimes you kind of like, oh, I don't want to pose because I don't like seeing my body, it's not ready yet. Keep your clothes on and practice your walk, practice your posing. Because this, like when it comes stage time, it's gonna look natural. It's gonna look like, you know, like it's gonna be right there. It's gonna, you're gonna have more confidence, more attitude on stage because you have been practicing for so long.
Yeah. So since we've got you here, we've just mentioned some good pointers to do and some things not to do. Like every athlete that starts in this sport, we all have some history of some things that we wish we wouldn't have done, or we've learned from that when we were first practicing our craft. Can you share anything with the fans here on a mistake that maybe you made that you don't want to duplicate when you were young in your career?
Let's think about it. You mean like stage time?
Yes.
Stage time. Okay, one funny one.
One funny one.
Like my first show. I didn't know anything about tanning, about anything shaving. I got to my show and you know, I went to do the tanning, and Carlinha from Pro 10, you know, we laugh about it now, but she's like she's like, honey, you need to shave your arm before, you know?
Right.
Like you don't know that you need to shave your arm, your whole body. I'm like, no. She's like, you see all this tanning sticking to your body? So she's like, okay, next time you shave. So I even, you know, we joking about this at the Olympia this year. She's like, now you're good, Angelica. Smooth like a baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, a few things that, you know, I wish I knew.
This is a great point, and it's a point that I didn't even share last week when I was putting out some pointers. But yes, do bikini girls need to shave their arms, their back, their shoulders, all of that? Yes, because the color is going to absorb better. You're going to look tighter. The color is going to look more natural.
Yeah,
and
blend better.
Absolutely. Since we're talking about color, so often we see as judges the newbies or the local NPC athletes making mistakes with their color. And, you know, they think if they get sprayed at night, they don't need to get touched up or sprayed in the morning.
You know something I wish I knew, I really wish I knew, because tanning is so important. And my first show, I think my 3 or 4 shows, you know, that I did first, I didn't know that they had the tanning backstage. Everything was so new for me. And I just like ask people, they're like, oh, you gotta use protein. So I look online and I bought it, you know, myself, and I had like my husband trying to do for me or my sister. And it was always, you know, like a mess. I'm like, oh my God, I have a spot here. And it was always a stress. And then I get backstage, you know, you feel like you need to pee, you don't want to pee because you can mess up your tanning. And then I think after my 5th show, I went to a next room and I'm like, what is this? Is this tanning? And I'm like, oh my God, they have tanning right here backstage. What a relief to have the tanning right there backstage. So since then, I only do the tanning with the company that's working for the show.
Yeah.
Because if you have any spot, anything that you need to fix, they're right there.
Yeah. And what you shouldn't do, and we understand it's a very expensive sport, and sometimes you're trying to cut cost. One of the things you don't want to cut costs is with your tanning. Let them do it. Don't make the mistake of yourself, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your friend applying color on you, because it will look exactly like that. You've applied color, and we will see it, and you will look muddy on stage. It will defeat all the hard work that you've put yourself through dieting and working out. And quite often, it's the complete package that wins the show, ladies. It's not the physique, it's the hair, the makeup, it's the polish, it's the stage presence. And this lady has one of the best of all of it. And any of the top Olympians will tell you that the craft is just not in the gym 4 hours a day. The craft is working on the tanning, the hair, the makeup, the suit, putting it all together.
Yes.
Putting it all together. Last point. One of my pet peeves is I'm seeing quite a bit. Some of the girls are trying to match their eye shade with their suit color.
Oh no.
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 Don't do that.
No.
Never, right?
No, never.
Never, never, never.
I did a mistake once though. But come on, I done 36 competitions. So at the beginning I did that and it was too much.
Too much.
I had a green bikini. Green shadow, no.
Yeah.
It didn't work. I didn't win that show, no.
No, I can imagine not.
Yeah,
So
it's important.
We got great advice from the champ. I think she's going to do great things in 2020. I want to thank you very much for spending time here at the dungeon with Ann, with Joe, myself. And my parting advice would be this. It is not a sprint, but a marathon. If you don't place pro in your 5th show, that's pretty normal, folks. It takes a lot to become pro. Practice your craft, win a lot of state and regional shows. When you start winning the overall titles and you're going to the national shows and you're placing well, keep at it. It's a matter of time. It's a game of percentages, and it will happen for you. It will not happen overnight.
Yeah, this is so important. Because I see some girls, they give up so easy. They try like 5 shows. Oh, I didn't turn pro. You know what? This is not for me. It took me 20 competitions with the NPC to turn pro. 2 years, okay, it wasn't a long time, but I was doing shows like every month. 1 year in 2014, I did 11 competitions, trying to get my pro and getting the experience. So exactly as you said, I had 10 first place, 6 overall titles, and when I turned pro, I felt like a pro. I was like, okay.
You were ready.
I know, I'm ready for the pro level.
Right.
So my first pro show, I placed top 5. I was 4th place in Tampa Pro, was my pro show, was my pro debut. So I was ready for that because I had all the experience. So I know it's a setback, like we all have setbacks, but get this as a learning experience. Like, oh, I didn't place top 5, I'm learning. I'm gonna get better. I didn't get my pro card yet. Okay, I'm just getting better and better and better. When I get to my goal, I'll be ready. Yeah. So super important what you said.
Very important words of wisdom. And party note, what I always tell the kids at our athletes meeting is, everybody has already won. When you show up to a show, you've already won. You've already done what only the 1 percentile in the country can do. You've probably lost 20, 30 pounds. You've mentally challenged yourself, and you've already gotten to a place that you have won. The trophy at the show is just an added extra. Remember that. Stay focused, stay true to yourself, be determined. For Jack, the champ,
And Angelica.
NPC News Online and NPC Midwest, thank you for watching.